to fun, my fun havers, my funners, my fun children. It's me, your Chuckle King, as always, here with you to bless you with the many things that are related to theme parks and also my silliness. It's going to be a great episode, guys. It's a news roundup. You want to know the news? I've got the news for you. Every month, I have the breaking news from the previous month that is no longer breaking. But it's good. It's because if you're out of touch and you're not on the social medias or whatever, and you're just living life off the grid, and for whatever reason you're listening to my podcast only, this is going to keep you up to date. With me, as always, is the Chuckle Wizard, Nathan.
Oh, hello, Daniel. Hi, I should make it clear. I am Nathan H. And I have, I'm the new severed employee for this podcast.
Oh, I see.
I was told that my,
I know our guest is into Severance, so I guess this bit works.
Okay, I was told that my Audi was tired of doing this, and so I've been asked to come in.
This really alienates a lot of the listeners who don't understand at all the Lumen company and their Severance technology.
Well,
but for those of you that
all I have to say about Lumen, of course, is Hail Kier, and
of course Hail Kier.
Yeah.
And so you're doing, what department are you in? May I ask your innie what department? Is it okay if I reference you as an innie?
I think
worky.
I think innies can call each other innies, but I don't think it's a thing you get to do.
I don't. So what? How does your worky? What's
my position?
In?
I'm in podcast refinement.
Okay.
I'm here to refine your podcast, make it better.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
gotta get a thesaurus out though and figure out some old timey way to say that. You know what I mean? Like you're because like mammalian nurturables, we gotta figure out some kind of fancy way of saying.
I went over there. I petted some goats. It was great.
Yeah,
good times.
Some kids. You touched some kids with some homeless guys.
That sounds bad. I can see why my Audi decided to Severance.
Yeah. Because you're down in the severed halls touching furry kids. With us, perfect segue. With us, it's our incredible.
If there was
guest.
ever a man who loved to touch furry kids,
yeah, we're talking about goats here. The small goats. All right, everyone
small
knows.
Goats.
Everyone
calm
knows.
down.
Calm down.
You bunch of woke listeners.
I want to argue that our guest today is Tiana's Bayou Splash's #1 fan. All right, the man who knows the most about this frog-themed log flume. It is the one and only Drew the Disney Dude. Drew, it's so nice to have you on the podcast, man.
Yes, it's I think we met for the first time back when Country Bear Musical Jamboree opened, and
goodness. What a time.
Fun day.
What a time. What a gift. And it's, it's so interesting you say that. Why we can like just redo Country Bears with like modern, interesting, silly stuff, but we can't do that to Muppet Vision? We can't like figure out a way to like do it new. You see the numbers, Yellow Shoes, of people going back to Country Bears now that it's new. It's packed. It's packed all the time. It's really nice. It's consistently full. So, disappointed. But Drew, I'm excited to have you with us because you're everywhere, man. I've seen you on the news. I see you're doing
the news.
Yep.
Wow.
I've seen also people like like these, and God bless them because everyone wants to be a Disney influencer these days. Even people who are like regular influencers in other ways. And I hate the word influencers, but people who like content creators.
I hate that word too.
Creators, yes. And they want to like dip a toe into them. So like I see people like at like groundbreakings or like this ride or virtual queue opening or whatever, and like people like ambush Drew and throw a microphone and be like, hey, come be in my Instagram reel where I try to make a name for myself and have someone who is clearly more educated than me, Drew, in the video because I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. So Drew, you're really enabling those people. You got to stop it, man. You got to stop. I'm not pointing any fingers. I'm just being silly. But it's great to have you because you know a lot. I love seeing you pop up everywhere. I love seeing your rise. And so I want to start talking about Walt Disney World and some of the new doings there.
My home base.
Your home base, yeah, and my favorite location, despite the fact that it hates me. It's crazy. I'm in an abusive relationship with the theme park. I don't even know how it happened, but
I think we're all slightly in an abusive relationship with
yeah.
Point.
I guess we're all in an abusive relationship with our fandoms now, in a way, because that's just the culture. The culture is to be at odds, is to hate your fandom like you hate your mom and dad. So, it's great. So,
there's a lot to unpack there.
And your fandom, they all let you down in a very specific way. And
welcome to therapy.
Yeah, get a therapist. But I want to start over at the Springs, where I hear that Level 99 immersive gaming venue announces a new location at Disney Springs. We have gone full circle, but we have outsourced it. And Disney Quest, an outsourced lowest bidder Disney Quest, has entered the game.
They're hanging in there, as you can see.
Drew, have you done a Level 99? Have you tried one?
I did not know that Level 99 existed until this news broke. So
Me either. Where are they big? There's a few of them somewhere.
I honestly have no clue. I have no interest. I have not put any time into this. I just saw Scott Gustin's post and I'm like, all right, and I moved on with my day.
Yeah, it feels like I have a subscription for my kids to like a trampoline park, and they have like a jungle gym, and there's an arcade, and there's like a wall climb, and it's
Urban
like,
Air.
whatever. Yeah, it's Urban Air. Yeah, I have an Urban Air subscription, and so that's what this feels like. This feels like Wonderworks in a weird way. It just feels. It feels.
This is Discovery Zone for adults, is what. Yeah, it is.
But does anyone want that?
I kind of do.
You might until you start to do it and you're like in your 30s and your joints are hurting and you have to like hang upside down by monkey bars and like hit 3 buttons at the same time.
Sure.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Don't even act like you're not going to go and do this and do a whole video of you doing hijinks. At 99. Don't even act like that's
maybe. I didn't go to the basketball zone. I didn't do any hijinks at the basketball
clearly
town.
No one cared about basketball town.
Right, and I argue that no one is going to care about Level 99. It's like, hey, kids, you want to go to a low-budget version of the parks that you're currently at?
Yeah.
Do you want to go at the lowest effort, easily franchised arcade fun park? It's like, no, we don't have tickets to Fun Spot. We have tickets to Disney. I don't understand this.
This would be incredible at a shopping mall in, like, Grand Rapids.
Yeah,
you know
it
what
is.
I mean?
It is 100%. Incredible at a shopping mall in Grand Rapids.
But this is like, and God bless them. I have no issue with these people. Like shoot your shot, but that lease money is coming for
all the luck. But like, if it's not, and I know that people are like, oh, the IP in the parks, but like this is devoid of IP, and you'll feel it when you get in there.
I'm so mad.
You'll feel like you're in like a laser tag house. Like, everything glows. It's like a bowling. It's like glow bowling.
I'm just so mad that it seems the Universal escape rooms have not been that successful. I don't know. I have no metrics.
Well, they're garbage. They're not escape rooms. They are kindergarten handheld experiences that you trip through. You can trip through accidentally.
Highly themed. Incredibly
themed, but you have.
I loved my experience, fully recognizing it was not a good escape room. It was a Back to the Future experience with elements of escape. I'm getting that. I understand that. But my point is if that had not been $1,000 bajillion a person and succeeded, I think there'd be no question this would already be a Disney escape room.
Yeah, the term escape room was very loosely applied there, and it injured the brand. It injured the idea of an escape room because people tried it, and it's more like the temple run of Legends of the Hidden Temple than it is an escape room.
You can't lose.
You have a bunch of rooms. Well, no, you can lose. You can get timed out, except if you get timed out, you just get pushed into the next room. Every room has a timer. It's just not. We have medication to relieve anxiety. I don't know why anybody would want to like get in on this. I don't get it. But speaking of weirdness at the parks, apparently, Drew, were you there on the day that a majority of Magic Kingdom lost power because of some kind of accident? What happened?
Yeah, so I think it was something with like a power outage that led to like an air compressing system throughout the entire park that led these things to go down. But I had left Magic Kingdom like an hour before all this happened, so I barely dodged it. But it was pretty wild.
Was it like? I guess it's hard for me to picture. I can see attractions going down, But was it like lights and stuff as well? Like just everything went boo, or was it just the attractions
I
themselves?
think it was just like the attractions themselves, because I didn't see anything reported on like power outages and like the
I would
lights
have seen
going dark.
pictures at this
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
I think a lot of those attractions like have their own separate transformers and power management departments over like just the lighting and whatnot.
But look at this map that got released.
Yeah, it's
of what was
wild. It's so
closed.
funny. I remember this happened at Disneyland during the construction of Batu. There was a day at Disneyland where just Disneyland stopped. That you couldn't get in, they couldn't run security, the monorails weren't running, everything just stopped. And I remember that like once, if you did a little bit of digging and read between the lines, it turned out that a construction worker backed into a pole by accident and like just knocked out an inch, like a very specific pole that was kind of like half mounted up, like because it was infrastructure that needed to be moved, and they moved it. It got moved, and it took the park down for an entire day. Pretty wild. So this is something else.
What do we
to
have
see.
here? Do you like the treehouse? Is that the 5-minute wait? I'm trying to figure out if that's
Haunted
it is.
Mansion, Treehouse, Haunted Mansion, and
Tron.
Tron.
Laugh Floor, I want to
and
say
Laugh
something
Floor.
funny with this. Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor was open, and there's a power outage joke in Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor with either mac and cheese or salmonella. They make that power outage joke, and like the Monstropolis is surging. And I thought it was highly
Right.
ironic that one of the only attractions open is the attraction making a joke about a power outage.
Imagine the level of immersion you got as a
my
guest if you entered Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor in the 15-minute segment prior to the parks going down, and then you came out on the other side. Also, I just want to say, Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor is a dystopian nightmare. You are trapped in a room by monsters who force you to laugh if you want to leave.
It's slavery.
Canonically,
It's slavery.
talk about being severed, canonically having your innie stuck in Monsterland, forced to work in order to get out. I mean, that's exactly what happens at Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor. It's chaos.
You leave,
but
come
imagine
right
the
back.
level of immersion there to go into Monsters Inc. and then to come out. You didn't laugh much. You're 10, you're 11, you're an angsty 12-year-old, whatever it is. You come out, you didn't laugh, and then you realize there's no power in the park, and it's all your fault. The Christian shame sets in deeply. What a day it was at Magic Kingdom. That's fun. That's fun.
Fun.
It's fun. It's fun. You know what? I hope everyone got a free park ticket or whatever out of the day or whatever, but those kind of stories are great. I was at the Magic Kingdom once when it lost power. What do you mean you were at Magic Kingdom when it lost power? That doesn't happen. Well, it did for me. I got
the
stuck
lottery
on the
in the worst
monorail
way
for
possible.
12 hours. Yeah, exactly. And one last bit of exciting news from Walt Disney World. Twilight Zone Tower of Terror water leak effect restored in the queue after almost 25 years.
Yes.
Drew, have you seen it? Have you seen it in person?
I have not. I don't go on Tower of Terror very often, but when I found out, I asked one of my my buddies, and I'm like, is this accurate? He's like, yes, go for it. And I'm like, I need to post this because people are going to love this. What's funny about the Disney community is like the smallest little things make like the Twitter community happy, at least when I post things. And I'm like, this is going to be pure gold. So I put it up, and sure enough, everyone loved it. But yeah, it's a small thing, but it's great.
It is funny how the small things about the designs of the parks, like, I don't know, a small portrait of a bride made by AI art stuck up in the corner. It's the small details that we've been taught to look for as guests at the Disney parks. I don't understand why anyone had a big deal about AI art in the parks. I don't understand how many people even saw it. What do you mean people are looking at the details in the parks? So this is fun. We had this 25 years ago. I don't know what's going on. Actually, I do know what's going on. We have new leadership. We do have a lot of new leadership right now.
You mean like in general?
Parks.
Like all these little tweaks?
Yeah. Tell me what's going on in the effect, though, for the viewers that are just listening.
Or watching, because honestly, these photos don't really give you anything. There is, I think you can kind of see what sort of looks like a stream coming out of, you're in the queue, which is in the basement of the elevator. I think it's just called the basement. I don't know what
it's like called. A boiler room.
Service room.
Boiler room. That's the word.
You're in like the service boiler room.
Yeah, boiler room is the word I was looking for. And the water drips, but it drips down and then lands inside of this little tin can. Which is really cool because the whole thing here is that they know there's a leak, and so they put a little thing underneath it. But what that theoretically means is that can, of course, is like not a can. It goes completely in and goes somewhere else, right? It's a fountain-esque system that
fun little
allows for
gimmick.
this one drip. Yeah, it's an amazing gimmick, and it's so elaborate for such a specific little gimmick, which explains why it, went out 25 years ago and people forgot about it. But I kind of love it. Like, this is the kind of attention to detail that, like, we would be wearing, like, hashtag leaky elevator shirts if it had been consistent for years.
Like fix the Yeti kind of thing, right? Exactly. Like if we had lost it suddenly, we would have really cared about it. But there's a legit possibility that people 25 years ago just thought that the ride was leaking. I just want to throw that out there.
That's the best kind of immersion. You should think the ride's broken.
I even had people on my post saying, "Are we sure this is an effect?" I'm like, "Yes, this is actually intended to be happening this way. Like, I'm not posting something that's an issue. Like, this is an actual effect."
Well, it's the gimmick is actually because everyone posts the picture of like the Ninja Turtle set. Just go back to the picture of the drip. It just looks like a picture from the live action Ninja Turtle set, and so no one ever sees the can, and like the joke is like this can that never fills up. Like that's the joke. This is so when people see pictures of that, they're like, what is it? Are you sure? But you have to really get the full bit,
Yeah.
And Drew, you can bail. They have a bail procedure for the tower. In fact, the Florida tower is the easiest to bail on versus Guardians. So you just go and then bail. Go and bail.
You mean I should go wait for an hour and then just dip?
No. Rope drop.
Don't even act like.
Yeah, but then you're not. Then you're missing like Runaway Railway, Arise, or Slinky. No, come on, don't zoom that.
Don't even act. Don't even act like waiting an hour to look at a drip is not a thing that you would do on Tiana. So
right, exactly.
You're
not-
You would look at it. You would
you're
look
not
at a
wrong
drippy
there.
Tiana log. You would, and don't act like you didn't search for like porcupines or armadillos or whatever for hours when they were building that ride. You were looking at every corner, zooming in with your phone and stuff.
I was.
But separate from that, I'm going to miss out on a. Drew, you're a professional content creator, buddy. You have to rope drop a drip because that's your job now. All right, I don't ever want to hear you ever say, oh, if I rope drop an Imagineering effect, I'm going to miss out on doing another ride.
The average guest. I could care less about rope dropping rides. I never do it.
Okay.
But yeah, you are.
I was about to fight you.
No. You are 100% spot on about me. I will go to the parks for like the most random things.
Drew, I don't know how old you are, but
I'm 22.
Okay, so the effect is older than you.
Yes.
Show some respect for your elders, is all I'm saying.
Yeah. But I hear you from the perspective of a guest, but I don't know about that because it's the details like that we love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the stuff that we miss.
I would say though, Drew, I fully understand not riding Tower very often. Tower Tokyo is my absolute favorite ride, probably in Disney Sea. I love it because it's chiller. I never feel good leaving Tower of Terror at Hollywood Studios.
No, it shakes up your guts.
Never.
Yeah.
It's like I love the theming. I love it.
If you're a little constipated, Tower of Terror is awesome. You know what I mean? Because it uses the force of gravity to just move turds. But otherwise, I don't necessarily. I wouldn't recommend it otherwise. It's just a little aggressive.
The twofer of Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower being right next to each other is like, hey, would you like to wreck your day? Would you like to just absolutely wreck yourself?
And also blinding. They leave the photo lights on, like full blast. You know what I mean? Like not to keep talking about Severance, but I'm not Mark trying to burn an image to my workie onto my retinas by riding Tower of Terror. It's aggressive. It's aggressive. Can we go back to the way it was, please?
Agreed.
Please. Over at Disneyland, Drew, there's a new verse to the It's a Small World song. This is interesting. This is cool. Have you heard the verse? Has any of us heard the verse?
Yeah,
Is the verse in the public.
It's the verse that Disney dropped like a 3.5 minute long short film. It was Richard Sherman's last contribution to the Walt Disney Company. So if you go over, I'm going to self-plug here. If you go over to my Twitter, you can see that video. But it's out there, yeah.
It's a world of COVID, a world of mass. We had 1 million people die during the... Like, what is the verse? Like, what is it?
I can read it for you. I'll
read it for you. Yeah.
Mother Earth unite. Wait, no. How's it go? I gotta
Mother
figure it out.
Earth unites us in
Unites
heart,
us in heart and
mind.
and the love we give makes us humankind. Through our vast, wondrous land, we stand hand in hand. It's a small world after all. That was terrible. I sounded horrible.
A wild verse to release on a ride as the country like edges into civil war.
I mean, that's kind of the
for real.
point.
It's a wild-
That's kind of the point.
Is it?
We kind
Is
of
it?
kind of need something like this though now more than ever. Honestly,
Do we? Because Disney
yeah.
seems to be the most timid it's ever been when it comes to making any kind of political
When we
message.
stand hand in hand, but we get rid of DEI.
Yeah, exactly. That's the vibe. Okay. Okay, Sherman. Okay, Richard. Thanks.
Hey, I got no problem with them Sherman Brothers. They didn't do that.
great.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Now in Florida, what I would like is if we could add a verse from Lin-Manuel into the Florida version. Why not? You know what I mean?
that would
It's a small wood after all.
that would not be something that I'd want to post because I'd have people flaming it in my replies.
Yeah. Well,
Dan-
Lynn is the modern Sherman. Lynn and Bobby Lopez. They are for Disney
They are
right
great.
now. Make that face all you want. They are.
I don't
That's
like
what
it.
Those are their tools right now.
Can I say I love Lin-Manuel Miranda, but also I think my man has had himself a full circle of like, we were like, we love you more, and then he's like, here's more, and everyone went too much, and
Sure.
like,
Well, we all
guy-
have that with a lot of artists, you know.
yeah.
But it's accessible for a lot of people, and it makes them feel like they are in touch with hip hop.
My
even
theory
though
is
they're not.
the moment you play a voice, and I assume he has. I don't even know if I'm being ignorant, but I believe that if you've played a voice, especially if the voice is yourself on The Simpsons, you've gone too far, and
Sure.
and you got to be pulled back.
Well,
from
ask
the brink.
Leonard Nimoy. He did it,
He didn't. It's true.
and he's a hero.
He
Can I just say
All
something
right.
really quick that I just noticed?
bless.
Nathan, that
No.
Tony Solaroni plush in the background, that's perfect. Shout
I know.
out to Tony Solaroni. No one knows that.
Hashtag to Tony. Hashtag to Shandu. Hashtag
There
to
you go.
Shaun the Sheep. And hashtag to Wishbone in a Sherlock Holmes outfit. That's my shelf right there. So
Amazing.
yeah, amazing.
What's the story, Wishbone?
What's the story?
All right,
Wishbone?
let's head on over to Universal. Drew, the Universal dude.
Yeah, Drew's talking about Universal. What?
What? Only here.
What could be your? Because Drew, we're in the same business, you and I.
We are.
Illiterate Disney names. So what is your Universal pseudonym?
I mean, like Drew the Universal dude. I mean, it could work.
What about Ulysses, the Universal dude? You got to go with the Ulysses, the Universal. What's a I can't. Ulysses, the Universal urchin. There we go.
Lock it in.
I like it. I think that it works. Hey, new wands coming to Universal Studios
2.0.
Who didn't see this coming?
Who 2.0? Who knows?
When all of the current wands are deeply discounted and on sale and being given away with gift cards. Who knew that a new wand was on their way to the parks? But it's coming soon in next month.
Like tomorrow after we're recording this.
Oh, yeah.
wow.
So it's out.
When
It's
you
out
listen,
now. And it's cool because I know lots of people over there at Universal, and I know a couple Warner Brothers folks, and I've heard about haptic wands coming, and I think that's really cool. I mean, we're at the time and place now in this world where like your earbuds have like haptic feedback, so having that little vibrating, like solenoid or whatever in a tiny wand is very doable. Although I have to feel like these wands are going to be a little thicker. They have to be just a little thicker.
A thicker vibrating wand.
Yeah, well, they also light up too because they have like illuminating like fiber optic effects or something. But what is actually interesting about the wand upgrade is not the wands themselves. The wands themselves are actually the least interesting part because I don't know if a lot of people out there have noticed, but the wand areas have all been sneakily upgraded over the past year because over at Epic Universe, the new thing will be, and they've kind of revealed it now, is that you can join a house. As you do your magic, it tracks how good you are at doing your magic and you can earn points. And then it will display for you your report card on a little screen next to the magic trick.
I hear I hear you can go to Oga's too, and then the bartender's like, "I hear you're in Slytherin house." That's
I think
Breaking.
it's pretty neat. I think it's pretty neat, and they have some new interactive stuff. Like you can set up Patronus, and in the alleyway, in the Dark Wizard alleyway, a Dementor comes in, and your Patronus can fight it off. So it's going to be pretty neat.
Did you see the Death Eater like figure too?
Yes,
in the tent?
Looks
really good.
I saw somebody who worked on it hyping up like the effects that you can interact with, which is amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for this. And it's not the only place, and this is what's cool. This is what like really elevates it for me. It's not the only place you can use the wands. They've announced touring exhibitions essentially, and I guess just internet buddies with a production company called Animax, who makes all the puppets for Disney, all of the high end like Disney Junior puppets and stuff that they had. Animax built all of those, and I believe Animax also works on all the mechanical heads for Disney as well, all the talking heads. They made an animatronic Chamber of Secrets door, as well as dark detector eyes that are a part of this like exhibit. So imagine like a Harry Potter like experience, like you've done the movie with all the sets and props and stuff, but you can have a wand and do magic in the experience. Very clever, Warner Brothers, for like putting this together, threading this thing. I think it's pretty neat. I really like it a lot.
Agreed. And the price point doesn't seem bad either, because like if you look at like building a droid at Hollywood Studios, it's like $100, and I think these wands are in the $80 range. So not only do you have the upgrades at Islands of Adventure and Universal Florida, but you also have Epic Universe and the tour. So there's a lot of added value there, which I think is great.
Yeah, and I really, is $80 specifically, and like this is where, and I know it sounds crazy, but this is where like things like the Orlando Informer events are like peak, because the wand experience is open, and so to go in there just you and and a friend, or like go in there with like a group of like 2 or 3. And having the full authentic wand experience where a wand chooses you, then you go into the wand shop and buy it. Yeah, 100% worth the $80.
Yep.
Easily a solid investment. And it's like buying a new controller for a modern video game is really the equivalent, and it probably has a lot of the same technology. A PlayStation 5 controller is $80, it's 75, $80. So it is kind of in that same realm of
if you could controller. Use this wand while playing what's that Hogwarts game that recently came
Legacy
out? Yeah, that would be cool.
To be able to bring it home and have it have some functionality, even if you could like if it was compatible for like home like Alexa kind of thing, like where you could do Alexa commands with the wand or something.
I think that if Universal actually owned Harry Potter, opposed to sort of leasing it from Warner Brothers, they wouldn't even keep the wand interactions inside of Wizarding World. I think they would have at this point said, yeah, it's a thing that we do, much like I don't know, like you could kind of say the card game at Magic Kingdom, but kind of like how Magic Bands are interactive throughout wherever. I think they would have the Pirate Adventure and Adventureland. I think they would have said like, it doesn't matter. It is beyond. It's the wand itself is a concept beyond in our brains, beyond Harry Potter. So it would have worked for anything if they didn't feel it had a license.
Exactly. Yeah. And to be able to use it as like a magic, like a fast pass to like tap the fast pass thing, to be like your wizard fast pass, like it'd be incredible. Yep. But separate from that, Nathan, I would say that like I would want them to hide wizard gimmick, muggle gimmicks throughout the rest of the park. I mean, that's the real. If you ask me, and I don't know, Ogre Shoes, I don't know, E.T. Finger, I don't know what we call Universal's development team. Mickey is Disney's Yellow Shoes, but old E.T. Finger, call me up, because the whole we can sell this to Warner Brothers, and like keep it in universe to say that if we want to give people the authentic Muggle experience, so that when they transition out of the wizard space and they're back in their Muggle life, the Wizarding World still persists in tiny little effects that we have hidden around the rest of the space on our in our resorts, City Walk. You know what I mean? Like imagine a permanent City Walk merch display that like was always interactable with a wand and just revealed a shirt or something. It doesn't matter.
You get level 99 and you hang from things and you whip your wand around.
I haven't played Hogwarts Legacy. I got to get on.
I haven't either. I hear I'm waiting for it to go. I think it's like cheap now, so maybe I should. The only other thing I have to say about this though is, to hear me out, Men in Black alien attack, but I get to use my wand. Swack, swack, swack. Get everybody with my wand.
I don't know, man. I think the accuracy would really wane there.
It's 2.0.
Really
Maybe that's
wane.
for a 4.0 version.
Yeah. Well, you need it to be a little pointy. You need to have a pointer and a clicker. You know what I mean?
A pointer and a clicker. Yeah. The famous wizard pointer and a clicker.
Famous pointer. Yeah. Hey, something exciting. Drew, you a Wicked fan?
I am. Yes, I saw the movie. I liked it a lot. I didn't know anything about it before, like going into the movie. Like I'm not like a Broadway nerd. But I like the movie a lot, so I'm looking forward to part 2.
Shots fired, Drew. I see. I thought we were on the same team, but I guess I'm a Broadway nerd.
You are a Broadway nerd.
Hey, maybe I will be one day. Maybe I will be one day.
But they have plans to expand and add a Wicked attraction into theme parks. They've announced that they have intentions on doing this.
Let's do
now,
it.
they probably saw my infamous TikTok and Instagram reel where I layered over Defying Gravity with the Hulk coaster.
Perfection.
Expertly.
It worked.
Expertly.
It really did work.
Expertly. I sat there for a while. I did like
You
30
mixed it.
versions.
You mixed it.
I
could
really
tell.
did mix it. So that like certain parts of the songs hit at certain parts and of the coaster. So clearly they saw my gangbuster and Universal. If I am not invited as a Wicked influencer to this, the disgrace upon your house. The disgrace upon your house. So I'm interested. As soon as they pulled out Alphaba and Wicked, as soon as they pulled out Alphaba and Glinda at the parks for like a meet and greet and like a little installation, I was like, oh, it's done. They're using this property. It's on lock, and it's so amazing how Universal just keeps siphoning brands out of Disney that Disney like has built up or like has used in some way, such as Wizard of Oz now. So it's interesting to see.
I think James Franco's available if they just want him to meet and greet.
Now, James Franco's he's looking to call up college sophomores. That's what he's into.
There's a lot of them. Cheerleaders go through Magic Kingdom, James. I'm just saying.
They do.
They do.
I guess they do. Jesus. Jesus. This is not the messaging of the podcast I was looking to put out there.
James Franco, give us a call. Our favorite friend, James Franco.
No, not friend of the podcast, not future guest.
For legal reasons, I do not agree with this statement.
Drew already making sure his implications out of the way.
Smart. It's really smart. It's a good call.
Yeah, how do I leave this call by chance? No.
Yeah.
How do I switch rooms? I'm excited about this. I think it's cool. It's going to add a lot. I honestly just think that doing selections from Wicked, having a 60-minute version of Wicked, which they have done, they have done in Japan. In fact, it was done in Japan. It's wild. The show starts with Dear Old Chiz and then goes into The Wizard and I. It does Popular. It skips all of the No One Mourns the Wicked. It's this whole different like rearrangement that's like a 60-minute Wicked production. And I think that would have a great deal of success in the ways that they do, like, the Grinchmas, kind of thing down here. Like, totally. It feels like a home run.
Yeah, Grinchmas it's so good, man. Like,
slam dunk.
I look forward every single year just to seeing those interactions with people in the Grinch and Hollywood and Orlando. It's phenomenal.
It's the best.
Oh man, dude, I have the oh man, I got to meet the Grinch and it was the best. The Grinch is just the best, man. Shout out to the Grinch, man. You're the best. I'm excited about this next one because I don't know if anyone remembers, but about a year ago, and did I send it to you, Nate? Maybe I sent it to you a year ago and for another podcast, but I think I sent you a TikTok of Boston Dynamics doing like this gimmick where they're like, hey, here's our robot dog, and hey, we put a costume on it. But it was Boston Dynamics that did this, right?
I think was that Latte outside of Twosome here? Or is that something completely different?
Yeah. So, immediately after they dropped that, I was like, oh, these are going to be in the parks tomorrow. Like, Boston Dynamics just wanted to get the first, like, the jump on, like, being associated with, hey, we can brand these. They're not just work horses. They can also be entertainment instruments. And then, like, almost immediately after that, we got the Twosome dog. Like, when they became commercially available, or maybe it was immediately before that. I'm not sure. But that's separate from the fact that it was very mechanical. It was very obviously what it was. It wasn't hidden in any way, shape, or form. No. But the Boston Dynamics thing was like, oh, yeah, we can make this look like another creature. Well, now it's happened. It's happened at Epic. We have Dart, the robot dog dragon thing.
Tippy
and
tappies.
I am fascinated.
I knew
by
it was
this.
I knew it was a I didn't know it was a robot. I thought it was a human at first, and then those tippy tappies. Immediately, I was like,
that was the
I know what
indicator.
this. I know it exists.
Yeah. Right. Unless it's a human that's pretending to be a robot just to mess with us, which, hey,
cool. Good for you.
I would give you a massive credit, Universal, if you pulled that off. Drew, what do you know about this thing? Have you heard anything about Dart?
Yeah, I know a couple of people who have seen Dart like during these internal technical rehearsals as a part of the creative, not the creative, but the team members opening Epic Universe. It was just yesterday, I believe. And everyone is like obsessed with how good this is. I mean, you can see from the video how expressive it is. But I think kind of being on that ground level and seeing it in person is, you can't gauge it from, a helicopter video.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, the people that I know have seen it have just absolutely loved it, and everything I've heard about Epic so far has been great. Specifically, Monsters Unchained. I think that's without a doubt one of the best rides in the world, even though it hasn't been revealed yet, from what I've heard. Wow. So yeah, Epic is, I think, part of it I've been skeptical on, but as I've heard things, I'm like, they did deliver, which is going to be great to see revealed soon.
Yeah, it really is interesting. I'm so interested to see how this gets integrated into the park. Yeah. Because legally, like liability wise, like what is this going to be? Is it a parade thing? Will it be like in a special area that guests won't be able to access? Like is it for a show?
Yeah, that's what they were testing. Is there was like a barricade around like the trainer and the dragon, and you kind of just walk up and encounter the training happening. So I think that would probably be the best situation, so that it doesn't get ruined, because there's going to be someone who causes some issue and then you lose the incredible thing. So I hope that Universal airs on the legal side so that we don't lose this and we just get to see it.
Yeah, is the Toothless at the meet and greet like a baked-in wall animatronic like Donkey is, or is it going to be the walk-around Toothless?
I think it's going to be a walk-around Toothless.
Okay.
The ice dragon is in like the wall, so that one's kind of just there, like living, which looks really good. So this area here, this backstage photo here, definitely looks like the calibration area for this robot. Like, they definitely have, the lights. This will be set up all the time. Like, I don't think this area will probably ever go away. It looks like it's backstage. There's no theming around it. It's just curbs and grass and stuff. And it needs a calibration area, I'm sure, to like get aware of its surroundings. And then I wonder if they will then walk it in or relocate it into some more immersive indoor space. Because the other thing about this is that if it's out in the direct sun, it will deteriorate so fast because it's black latex. It's like black rubber. It will deteriorate like you wouldn't believe, as someone who has worked in some of these materials before. So I'm very interested to see what the dealio is with this thing, like how it actually applies in the parks, because it's incredible. It's incredible. And really what I think is exciting to like come of this is where we will probably see it happen in the parks is a stage show. It will be like Pluto for Mickey, like finally a 2-scale real Pluto, like in the parks, like for a stage show or something. I'm sure that will come. I'm sure it will happen eventually. We just have to, Disney is a lot slower than Universal. Universal moves very quickly because it's a much smaller division of a company that doesn't care about it. You know what I mean? Like versus Disney, where everything is the parks and 1,000 people have to make every decision. So it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. Yeah, that's one thing that I truly hope we see as a result of Epic Universe is that, I mean, we've already kind of seen it happen with Villains Land, right? 2 years ago, Josh Damar was saying Villains Land is far down the road, and then 2 years later, it's magically greenlit and is starting construction, like, right now, just about. So if we're seeing these character interactions, which something that people don't talk about at all, for the last 3 years, Josh Damar has been talking a lot about these characters, but we haven't seen a really like groundbreaking
application of any of them.
Yeah, like we have the Stuntronics Spider-Man at DCA, but it's, you don't actually get to interact with it. They have Project EXO.
Canonically, you do, because Spider-Man pops out behind where he lands.
Yes,
and
but
you do get to but it's not
in the scale of a robot, right? Disney has Project Kiwi, and they've tested it, and it's done so well.
What's that? Those are little Star Wars robots?
That's the Groot one. The Groot
one.
Yeah, Project Kiwi is Groot. They have Project EXO with Hulk, and they could do so many things here, but they just haven't done it yet. And I'm like, when is the switch going to be pulled to get this stuff in the parks? Because, like you said, those BDX droids are incredible, but it's not to the scale of an actual baby dragon that we're seeing the reactions with Epic.
We are. I'm going to TEA Inspire in a couple weeks in LA, and one of the things that we'll be showcasing is the BDX droids, and I'm really hoping they're there. So we'll see. But even then, I feel like the reason that they love to R&D showcase this stuff and then never do anything with it is because there is no incentive. The park is full. There's no. It is simply.
Well, the incentive is the speculative tech. That's the incentive.
The incentive is the quarter's almost over.
Mm-hmm. What can we release to make sure that everyone knows that we're working?
Yeah.
What can we do to show that we're working?
Yeah, and then that's what it's being used for. And I think that while we've seen some application of this stuff a little bit, not these elements, but other things overseas, because they're like, yeah, we need to get people into the park. We're interested in doing this kind of stuff. Disneyland doesn't even want you to come in. Much less, they're like, we don't have the room for you. Like, much less like really lay out
that is
stuff.
such an astute observation, Nathan. That's literally the truth.
Yeah,
it's totally the truth. I'm excited, and not to mention that there are not one but apparently 2 drone dragons. I thought there was only one, but apparently word on the street is that there are 2.
There are 2.
Which is bonkers to me.
But
guys.
my guess is they're not flying at the same time. My guess is they would
no. They will alternate.
Flights.
Yeah. Because the copy makes it sound like you might be lucky to see one or the other. You don't know what might be in the sky.
Right.
So that's very, very, very cool. Now a little bit of tragic news out there for all my family, for all my family at home. And I know that because you're my family, all of you listening, you're my family, and families ride or die, baby.
Yeah, right.
Because I learned that from my dear friend Dom Toretto, and
the funnily. It's the funnily.
Drew, have you been on Fast and the Furious Supercharged?
Unfortunately,
here in Florida. Yeah,
unfortunately.
So it's a clone of the experience that happens more or less in California, but it's going because California's getting a Fast and the Furious coaster, which is interesting, and it gives me a spider tingles for Florida only in that Rip Ride Rocket is going away.
You might be on the right track.
Yeah. And we already and the fact that it has the potential to rip through like the streets of New York, which unfortunately Rip Ride Rocket, I mean, they already punched a hole through the number one recognizable firehouse in all of America, and so
wonder what that could be.
Right. So, I rode Fast and the Furious Supercharged again. Thank you, Orlando Informer, for hosting me. I finally had the chance to ride it, and it is dreadful. It's a dreadful attraction.
It is almost like watching a Mystery Science Theater 3000 in the sense of like, holy moly. But it's like also
watching a
so
drag
bad.
race acting challenge. It is aggressive. It's like, who learned did anyone it's really, really bad.
But you do leave and you want to it is, the problem with it is not good bad. It's just bad. Like, it's veggie fruit. It is that whole. It's weird. I rode Battlestar Galactica at Universal Studios Singapore, and I loved the show. One of the best acted shows. So much fun with Battlestar Galactica, the reboot. Yet watching the actors do the ride stuff was the most pained thing I'd ever witnessed in my life. So it's did you never see
Crews,
Bill Paxton?
Epcottian. Well, that's different.
Paxton.
Bill Paxton is a legend.
God bless.
Right? Yeah,
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Chris Pratt, you will never fill the shoes
ever.
of that icon with your Velocicoaster bullshit and your Epcot veggie fruit.
They're quicker than you realize.
Right, and he's got another thing coming. Isn't he in another ride coming out soon?
Is he?
Is he? What's the other ride?
He's got to be in some Lego thing, right?
He's not Mario, right?
He is Mario, but he's not Mario.
Not like Park Mario, though.
No,
he is in the Lego. He is in Lego movie ride attractions. So all I'm saying is that Chris Pratt has poisoned us. He's the bubonic plague of theme parks.
There's got to be a Garfield thing coming out at some point.
It's that whole element, though. It is that element of it's a paycheck, it's a gig, it's like a corporate gig, and that it's very it feels very soulless, very quick.
I think it would be much better. Okay, I've never ridden the Hollywood one, to be fair, but it's like a dinky little part of a much larger experience, and you go,
sure.
Fine. I'm doing some research on.
You can explain it the same way in Florida as Universal Studios. It's a dinky little part of the entire experience.
this is what I'm pointing out here. I've been doing some research about attraction narratives and how basically their rhythms, like how they flow. And
like music.
I did Men in Black, and I had 3 that I'm working on: Men in Black, Spider-Man, and Fast and the Furious, because I want one that I know is terrible. And it's incredible once you sort of realize that it's not even the majority. It's like 70 to 80% of that ride is pre-shows. Like it's not like, oh, you have
all those pre-show rooms, all those gimmicks, all those interactions,
because you have pre-show 1, pre-show 2, pre-show on the actual ride. And then you finally get into the tunnel for like a grand total of 2 minutes.
It's using the same exact dummy buses that Kong uses.
Yeah.
So it's like there's like a fake guy in front that's just doing like.
But he doesn't get to say anything, which really sucks.
He does. He's a part of it.
He does? I don't.
Yeah. He's a part of it. They talk to him.
But there's not individual characters like Kong.
No.
Yeah.
No, not individual. Not like Kong, where each one has its own personality. Yeah. Or at least there's a boy and a girl version, I guess I should say, if I remember correctly.
Maybe
Kong has 2 there
Kong
is
has
variety.
Like 4. Yeah. I think that this. I really wish this tunnel was closer to the Hill Valley set at Hollywood. It's not close enough, because what I really want is that you take your tram through, you go to 88 miles per hour, and you go back to 1955, and then you land in Hill Valley. That's what I want, but it is not anywhere near. I think it's even on the other, like the bottom of the hill over there. Like I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know what they're going to do with the tunnel, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do something Back to the Future, even if it's not that close, because that's, people care about that. I don't think anyone cares about this in the sense that
it'll be interesting. Well, I mean, the epic, the fan fest that's coming, which, by the way, Wicked characters will be at the fan fest, and we talked about it with Peter on our last news roundup episode. But the fan fest is very Back to the Future focused, so I wouldn't be surprised actually to see or hear that elements of it get reused, in some kind of updated thing once the fan fest is over.
I need to be chased by Libyans,
right?
That's very
right.
important.
That's hey. Libyan uranium chase is a great roller coaster name. Apparently, Universal's
a Marty
also
McFly adventure.
Yeah. Universal's also opening a kids resort. Drew, did you hear about this?
Yeah,
with 6 different lands. Right?
Yeah,
where is it at?
Fun fact about me: I lived 5 minutes away from where this park is being built before my family moved to Florida, so
No
I'm very
way.
familiar with that entire area.
Really? Where is it?
Yeah, so it's about 25-30 minutes north of Dallas. It's in a city called Frisco. Frisco was being rapidly developed around 2017, 2018 when we moved out here. And we were in the city north of Frisco, which was like its neighboring town called Prosper. That whole area now it's just expanding rapidly. There's a massive mall up there called Stonebriar Center, and that's like the main hub of Frisco where there's all the entertainment, shopping, dining. And this is about 15 minutes north of that mall. So the only concern is that DFW, the airport, is about 35 minutes away. So it's not, like right next door to the airport, but you also have Dallas Love Field. So there's 2 airports right outside of there. I just think it's more of a fact of this is a new thing for Universal. So is it going to draw enough families to make them do more? But in that Wicked article, they said they want to do more like that. So it seems like they're investing in it doing well.
Yeah, it is interesting that if they attach it. Sorry, it is interesting that if they attack it correctly, they can do what Nintendo. Jesus. If they attack it correctly, they could do what Nickelodeon is doing, like in Jersey with the Great Adventure Mall, where they have that Nickelodeon park. They could essentially license things out like Lego
America,
actually
right?
does. Yeah, no, not Mall of America. It's the Great American Mall or something.
Okay.
It's some
the play centers in Sea Life Aquarium. Yeah, they have one of those.
Yeah.
They have one of those also in Grapevine, which is right next to the airport in Dallas. So those malls have those little adventure centers, but this is like an actual park.
Yeah. Right. Family resorts, though, it's a park, but it's a park in that it is a family activity to do. It's not going to be a thrill seeker thing as much as it is going to be most Legolands are this, as like they just opened one in upstate New York. It's only open like half the year, but still it's a viable business that has lots of brands and franchises in it. That is just, it's an accessible, a lot of like autism and neurodivergent awareness,
flat ride,
special days, and like a lot of consideration consideration for that.
Which is
it's
great.
not unwise to do, and I imagine will be sustainable with a couple restaurants and probably 1 or 2 hotels attached to it. Hyper sustainable, and it won't even necessarily be for people to fly to. That's not even the target audience. It's for people to.
That's a good point.
It's like for all the people in Texas will easily take care of its attendance. Just the amount of families is just looking for something to do that's reliable, safe, and recognizable. It's gangbusters.
This is I think a basically an acknowledgement. Well, it'll really be an acknowledgement if Disney ever does it. But I think this is an acknowledgement of we are pushing out the middle class. We recognize we're pushing out the middle class. We want to give them something at a price rate where they can do it at a domestic or a regional level.
Yeah, like an amusement park level.
Right, but we can control it and we can still utilize these IPs.
Like like what Six Flags and stuff was, like in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
and
Six Flags is out there too.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily harm your overall business because they're still going to go once a year, or not even once a year, once in a lifetime maybe, or every 5 years to
every couple
Universal
years,
proper.
In fact, this grooms them to want to do it.
Absolutely. This is about getting kids involved and interested
grooming
in
kids.
these characters.
Yep.
It's about, I mean, it kind of is. I mean, that's
1000% is. Everyone acting like this is a new idea that child predators figured out. No. We grew, like, that's what religion is, guys. That's what, like, the idea of grooming is not like inherent. Well, it is inherently bad, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
And so this
it's manipulation.
This is
that's what it is.
It's manipulating you into, wanting it. So.
And that's the point of this kind of stuff. And I think there's a lot of fun that can be had. I want to be very clear. I think there's a really nihilistic way of being like, oh, they're just doing this for money. Well, yeah, they're doing it for money, but you can still have fun at these places. There's nothing wrong with it, but it is definitely something they wouldn't do if they didn't feel like it would harm. If they felt it would harm their overall business in Florida or Hollywood, they wouldn't do it. And they don't feel that way because they are now upcharging up the butt with all of these, their global properties. And so they are allowed to sort of do these regional ones.
Hey, speaking of charging up the butt.
Well, hold on.
I want to talk.
I want to check. I want to talk about these characters because we said that they're doing characters, but we never talked about which ones.
Oh, which lands they got?
Yeah. So we got Shrek, Cat in the Hat, not Cat in the Hat. No, what's the other cat?
Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots.
It technically is I would like to say that it is a Cat in a Hat.
In your defense,
Nathan. Yeah, but he's armed, which the Seuss Cat in the Hat isn't.
Armed.
He does also have an umbrella, but he doesn't hit the kids with it.
He does have arms. But he's not armed.
He does. Yeah, he's not armed. Well, but he comes with an umbrella. He has a bit. He has a pointy shtick, but he doesn't hit anybody with it. We got Shrek and Donkey, pre-Shrek 5 Shrek.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Later, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got Minions.
Yeah. For everyone's aunt.
Gabby's Dollhouse, which
this is the one I don't know. What the hell is this?
You're too old, Nathan. You're too old. But it's just like a thing it's a Netflix thing, which is there you go. But it's like a Netflix like kids brand thing. I don't know. It's Gabby's Dollhouse. It's ridiculous. We got Trolls. Everyone, if farting glitter guy diamond's not there, I don't want it.
Yeah,
SpongeBob and what is there a baby dinosaur show, Drew, that I don't know about?
Jurassic World has a show called Camp Cretaceous.
Camp Jurassic.
Or Camp Jurassic.
Sorry,
Camp
Cretaceous. No. Yeah, I'm thinking here. I'm thinking the park here.
Yeah,
yeah. You're right.
And it's like takes place during Jurassic World, but it's like animated for kids. Alicia Stella
kids, you want to come get eaten by a dinosaur?
No, apparently Alicia Stella swears by this show. Like, apparently it's really fun, and it's like, it's just sort of at that slightly scary level that kids can deal with around dinosaurs, opposed to actually being horrid.
Okay.
Hey, I want to shout out though my main man SpongeBob for decades now, just going from park to park, doing his thing and being the hustle that he is. Because I see my man at Kings Island, I see my man at Universal. God bless you, SpongeBob. Like you're there for. I mean, he's around, man. He's everywhere.
Very accessible. He's on cruise ships. He's
everywhere. We love
Speaking of cruise ships and paying out the butt, let's head on over to some Disney cruise ship news. Pew, pew, pew. I'm excited about this, and I am saving up this entire year and planning entirely around my Singapore trip because I would very much like to go take a trip to Singapore for the new Disney Adventure cruise ship that looks to be quite the gangbuster. And we got some entertainment news for the Disney Adventure. First and foremost, Duffy and Friends. For those who are not familiar, it is a very popular teddy bear character with all of his friends over in the Asia theme parks, not necessarily specifically Japan.
Dan, have you ever done a costume evolution of old Duffy?
Absolutely. I've done a history of Duffy to tell people who Duffy is. And it's a bit of an unhinged story. It's truly unhinged. But Duffy is a sentient toy that was brought to life through the wishes of Minnie Mouse to make sure that her husband, Mickey, I don't care if people say they're not married. They're married. Her husband,
they don't
Mickey,
live in sin. Of course.
Right.
They're married.
So her husband, Mickey, is a companion when he's out at sea. But then Duffy comes back like a possessed doll, like Chucky, you know what I mean? And he's like, I demand friends. You've birthed me into a lonely existence where when we return home, you get Mickey back, but now I have no one. Yeah. And so Minnie begins to work hard. She gets friends to come into Daisy, Goofy. Lots of people contribute items and objects and stories and memories to construct the entire crew. And they are more popular than Mickey in Shanghai, in Hong Kong. They are wildly popular characters.
Yes.
My favorite, of course, is Olu Mel, the Polynesian turtle.
Shout out to Olu Mel, my favorite as well. Shout
out to us then.
Huh?
There you go.
All three of us.
Oh yeah,
it will be the first Duffy representation on a cruise line, and it will be like with Duffy and Friends, and it's going to be quite the show. I'm a little curious about this because can we go to the next slide for Jack Sparrow because it's another show on this same stage.
Is it the same stage or is it on the other end of the ship? Because I assume
that's my question. Can we go back and forth really quick between the two
stairs.
and see?
There are different stairs.
Stairs are different.
Stairs are different. But that
the
could
railings
be the
are completely
art.
Different.
I know. What I'm saying is that could be concept art.
I completely
That could just
agree.
be the intention of the show, and that they don't know what the space is. They just know that it's it could be a different stage. But it's very similar. It's nigh identical. So I'm
a little
it's on the
same. I think it's the same.
And it feels like it's outside. It feels like the outside stage,
like a deck show. Yeah.
Yeah, like this is like, but it looks
with
like
an LED.
The LED screen, like, because this looks like it's a guest area when it's not being used, is what I'm saying. Like, there's a pool or there's something that's going on here, like on every other one of the ships. They have this kind of common space. So I'm interested to see. I'm very interested to see what the deal is.
This is actually probably projection mapping, not LED. I would assume LED. That would be a huge piece of LED.
No way, man. That Disney ships already have. They're already built in with massive Treasure's whole wall on the the upper deck stage is all LED. And they have the big LED screen, and also live entertainment. The theatrical, they have built-in now LED panels as part of like their build out for this. Because all of Beauty and the Beast is LED panels.
Okay, cool. I didn't know that.
And Little Mermaid has a lot of LED screens. So yeah, LED screens are super popular with entertainment right now for Disney.
Speaking of super popular, is Captain Jack Sparrow still super popular?
Yeah, especially on the ship, especially when you're sailing.
It's hard to not.
It's a synonymous sort of thing. It's interesting that they brought, because they had to kind of create a persona for Mickey and Minnie, this Captain Mickey, Captain Minnie, and Minnie's really grown out of that quite a bit. Like she's got a lot of character development.
Yeah.
But when you're on the ship, Jack Sparrow is a key element of the ship, like it's definitely something. And it's interesting that Duffy and Friends now, because they're also sailing heavy, like they're sailing focused brand. They live in Cape Cod. Duffy is a sailor. Yeah. They live in Cape Cod in Japan. They have a show on the boat, that fake like Titanic boat that they have. So
at Disney Sea, it's on the stage right offside the boat, like when you're entering the boat.
Yeah. It's like where they reside.
Well, they have two.
They are nautical creatures.
They have sometimes they have shows. Right now, I don't think they do by the boat. They have in the past, but generally they are in the sort of Cape Cod dining area. You buy a dining package, and there's a show that goes with it, and that's always the Duffy show. Yeah, in Cape Cod.
Love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so I can't wait to get on this boat. Drew, are you a cruise fan?
I'm not a massive cruise fan, but I will say because the Adventure is essentially a reimagined ship that was already being built, it's forced Disney's hand to be creative here. It's not like we just have the wish.
That's why I'm
the
very excited to see it.
Yeah, there's no cloning here. This is all forcing them to be original, and I'm like, this has my attention.
Very much so has my attention. Very much so. And we have a really great leadership in the park right now. Although I don't know if the leadership here reflects the entertainment on this boat. It has to. Who
It's
else
the
is doing
same,
it?
Yeah,
Who else
I
is
think
doing
it's all
it? It
the
has to
same.
be.
Yep.
It has to be. So I don't know. Very interesting. Can't wait. I cannot wait to get on that boat. I don't need to be the first one on it, but I want to go on there relatively early and make some nice content out of it, because I know I can wear all the costumes I want on that ship and no one will look. No one will even blink at me. I could bring two suitcases full of costumes. Yeah. All right, some Walt Disney Company news, Drew. Disney responds to criticisms about rising costs of family vacations. How did they respond, Drew?
I thought their response was very tone deaf, to be quite honest. It wasn't. It's just, I read that article and I'm like, man. You're talking about the article on the Walt Disney Company's website, the one with the quotes from Josh D'Amaro?
Yeah, I'll read the quotes. The number one thing we hear from the millions of guests who visit our parks each year is how much a Disney vacation means to them. And we intentionally offer a wide variety of ticket, hotel, and dining options to welcome as many families as possible, whatever their budget. We also know that inflationary times... we also know that in inflationary times, it's especially important to give families ways to save on their visits. We haven't increased the lowest price tier at Disneyland since 2019, and we recently introduced a kids ticket for a little as $50, just to name a couple of examples. Excuse me, ChatGPT, can you write a thing about how my billion-dollar company is actually very good and make it sound slightly condescending, but in that way that people find appropriate?
And make sure no one knows I'm writing this on a yacht.
Yeah.
Make sure no one knows I asked you to write this when I'm on a yacht. It's interesting. Inflation, everything's out of control right now. So, and Disney rides it's an inflation leader. You know what I mean? It is right there on the forefront of inflating its prices as regularly as possible. And that's what happens when you're the company that you have a religious like obsession with is profit based, because it's not a non-profit business, guys. This is not, and that's, and I understand the response to the company quite often in that sort of hurt but like it's church where they're not pretending like they don't want your money. Like, church is like, oh,
what are you talking about? Church has always wanted my money. I don't know what you're talking about.
But they're like, because it's good. It's good. It's for you. You giving money is good. It's for your soul. You're doing it like you're doing it. Yeah, at church. You are doing it to continue the word of God, to continue the house of God, to make sure that things are maintained, that we can spread the word. You know what I mean? There's a very
an ethos
sort
to
of
why you're giving. It feels like it feels like charitable.
But you receive peace. You receive inner peace in the same way that Disney offers you inner peace, offers a lot of people inner peace. Right. But they don't have the but there is no like divine. There's no like greater purpose other than we're a business, baby. We got quarterly dues. We gotta balance the books. And so it's just sad. It's just
it's a company. You mentioned this earlier. Unlike Universal, who's run by a far too large group that has so little interest in what they're up to because they're one of 1,000 things, which has its own big problems, in my opinion. This is like, hi, you literally do 70% of our revenue every year because we can't make good movies. So, and then we'll like we'll have something come out that, of course, was like a huge hit every now and then. Don't get me wrong. But it's not enough because we spent the same amount in budgeted for the film on marketing as well. So can you charge $100 so people can ride teacups? Is that something we can do? Because we have no other way of making money. Disney Plus is not making us any money.
Can we charge $6 for a bottle of soda?
Yeah, what can we do?
And speaking about fluctuating prices, apparently rumors are that the U.S. theme parks are moving to a fluctuating demand-based ticket pricing. I thought that they already did that. The ticket pricing is already dynamic and based off of when you want to go, and the price increases as the seasonal demand increases. So how is that different than what we have, Drew?
Yeah, so right now, like once a ticket price is basically revealed, whenever it becomes available, it won't change at all. But this would change it if it happens. Again, it's just a rumor for now, which I think there's a lot of credibility to this rumor, and it wouldn't shock me at all if just one morning we wake up and it's out there.
Oh, totally. It's happening in Paris. Like, it's
exactly.
We have examples of it.
Yeah, but this is, Dan, this is kind of like where if I'm going to Magic Kingdom tomorrow and I went onto the Disney World app and it says Magic Kingdom's 180, but then a lot of people start buying tickets, and maybe that 180 turns into a 190.
Airplane tickets. It's airplane tickets.
Exactly. Yeah, it's to where there's
Airplane
never
tickets.
any predictability, so to say.
Cool. That sucks. Can't wait for that to happen. What else we got here? A class action lawsuit filed against Disney over DAS changes, DAS pass changes. Yeah, this is an unsolvable problem, and I don't understand why no one can understand that. Well, I do, because the trauma involved in a lot of these accessibilities, the anxiety, you know, it is not an easy thing to navigate, but it is an unsolvable problem. And it's so fascinating to me because Disney, this company, has gone out of their way to reinvent accessibility for their attractions so that they could eventually be in this place to say, oh no, we have accommodations already built into the park for you. In fact, this is the most accessible park it's ever been for someone in a wheelchair or someone who is wheelchair bound. And so because we have taken those accommodations to equalize you as a guest to have a similar experience as every other guest, you don't qualify for this. How do you even begin to argue? It's so, I think about it all the time.
Yeah, the DAS situation is, like you said, it's one of those things that I, every once in a while I'll see, I'll post about it, and I'm like, how do you even begin to tackle this challenge? Because like you said, like, that's one thing, like, I applaud Universal for what they're doing right now with Epic Universe and kind of pushing their boundaries to be a better theme park, you know, headliner.
Yeah.
But a lot of these rides at Epic Universe that no one's talking about yet is how inclusive they are. Like, you look at Yoshi's Adventure and there's a lap bar on that ride. Like, that it's people aren't going to be able to go on Yoshi's Adventure, and that it shouldn't be that way. And then you look at something like Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind and how inclusive it is and how comfortable those seats are. So like you said, Disney does do a lot with the actual rides and experiences and the parades and the sign language interpreters, and those are all things that I pay attention to, because it's a lot of times when people think about the word inclusion, quite frankly, they just think about black and white, right? Like skin color, but it goes far, far beyond when you think about, you know, people who are deaf or people who are blind or people who have autism, you know, like you were talking about earlier. So it's like, where do you even begin to talk about it? And quite honestly, that's why I haven't talked about it a lot as a creator, is because even though I have many thoughts on it, no matter what you say here, I feel like you're just going to upset someone, and that's not my goal. I just want to present news sometimes.
It is truly an unsolvable problem. I've been writing a script about it for like a year, where I've been like outlining and brainstorming how to approach, like, and the video is just like, how do you solve Disney's accessibility problem? And the answer is you cannot solve it, because it's interesting. And I think that it's totally valid, but we live in a very individualistic society these days. We are not a team. We're not a tribe. We are all looking out for ourselves first, and then we look beyond that. And it's interesting, and I understand why people approach that with their disabilities, with their needs, with the accessibility needs that they have, because they're on their own individual journey and their needs are specific. And, you know, but again, and I circle back to the fact that this is a for-profit business that is looking to smooth out any wrinkles that it can, and it has gone way out of its way to smooth out a lot of accessibility wrinkles over the years to make this a hyper accessible park for all kinds of disabilities, so that now it's like, I understand that we all have individual needs that we don't, and some people don't feel represented, but at the same time, how could everyone possibly be represented equally in a space that's already become the most inclusive space that, I mean, go anywhere, go to any shopping mall, go to Golden Corral, go to don't do
that for yourself. Don't do that.
Well, you know, but I'm just saying,
maybe
like,
don't go there.
Go to a theater in New York and tell me about, and then tell me what's more or less accessible. And no one really has, there's not a DAS pass for Broadway. There's not a DAS pass for a lot of things that are far less accessible, and versus Disney, that, you know, you can't do the trick that I did growing up where someone pretends they have a broken leg, you're in a wheelchair, and you get on every ride instantly. That is not a thing anymore, guys. If you have a broken leg and you go to Disney World, you are queuing up with everybody else, because they made it an accessible queue. So it's like, it's an interesting conversation.
There's two thoughts I have here, which is, thought one is, after going overseas to a Disney park, recognizing how much the need of accessibility is a cultural need and not, again, I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but you just don't, at least my experience spending several days at Tokyo was there was just less guests. Like they had just chose not to show up for that thing. They sort of recognized for themselves, this is going to be hard. I don't want to deal with it. It wasn't like it was inaccessible in the sense of ramps and things like that, but it was just this cultural recognition, I guess, of like, it's not for me, like I can't do it. And that's interesting. I'm not saying that's the way we should do things. I'm just saying it's interesting.
Yeah,
that
it is. It's the individual. It's the individual.
Right.
And Japan isn't like that. Japan is
collectivism, 100%.
Collectivism.
Their culture is so phenomenal. I can't wait to go over there one day just to appreciate how they operate as a country.
Yeah, but to a fault almost too. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's not great all the time. It is. Yeah. It has its problems.
You shouldn't feel ashamed to go and become a technically an issue in the park because you're in the way of the collective, right? That's not what we want either.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to recognize that the fervency of the demand does not come from like a global perspective. It is very much a cultural perspective. The other thing that I think is interesting is the majority of issues with accessibility seems to be not about rides anymore, but about wait times, right? The issue here is if every ride, and again, this is where things are unsolvable, kind of, but if every ride only took 20 minutes to stand in, we wouldn't be having this wouldn't be a problem. Like, I don't think people would be as upset.
No,
and, I'm very interested. This is something I didn't bring up in our agenda because we're still learning about it and it's still a rumor, but like, if they're going to be doing, virtual queues for Epic Universe, long form, where you just never get into a standby and they kill standby, and you always just utilize the app and you're always then just waiting 15 minutes. That's a big change for how you can, how long somebody who wouldn't normally be able to stand for 3 hours in a line no longer has to. It also makes a big change for how much space you need for queuing. So I think we might be on the precipice of like new design elements for wait times, and if we can fix that, I think we fix a lot of the accessibility issue.
Yeah, that's
or at least the desire to feel like
the wait time. The wait time element is a huge factor that is so true.
Yeah, and that's something too that like no one's talking about with the removal of Tom Sawyer in the Rivers of America, but that actually makes Magic Kingdom a more inclusive, accessible park. Tom Sawyer Island, whether people want to admit it or not, it's not inclusive at all, and it's a massive safety hazard. And if a lot of people I have seen saying, well, what if Disney updated Tom Sawyer Island to make this a more intriguing offering? For me, someone who loves Tom Sawyer Island, I would love that. But it quite literally cannot handle that capacity because of how many people can go on those little rafts to get to the island. So there's lots of things behind the scenes that I'm sure led to Disney choosing to remove it to do Cars and Villains. But in a sense, if you're going to talk about accessibility and inclusivity, well, that makes someone in a wheelchair, they're going to be able to enjoy this Cars area, and they can enjoy Tom Sawyer Island right now. So it goes far beyond, the things that people think about when they're going on their rants and tangents.
100%. 100%.
Right. All right. Shrek 5?
Yeah. Why don't we I don't want to talk about DEI programs. Anymore. I'm so bummed out.
Well, it's also stupid because Disney has already added the key of inclusivity. And so the DEI program was, like most things that Disney does and most corporations do, just a political stunt to participate.
We all knew that.
To whatever the popular trends are at the time, just like them backing out of DEI is a political stunt to participate in whatever the popular trend is at the time. Disney is scared, and we all know that. But inherently, they're also desperate for good employees. And so you show up to the point where they had to add inclusivity. Come on down with your pierced ears and tattoos and mustaches. My God, we need employees. So it's like, and that by and large, and not to take a weird stance here, but that's all of America right now. All of America right now is desperate for qualified, talented, dedicated, real employees. And so sure, get rid of DEI. People are still going to get hired is all I have to say, because we're all desperate for people who want to work. So, I'm so
well, I could be,
America the soap opera is what it is.
Yeah. Like I said, we didn't want to talk about this. We're going to talk about it a little bit, but,
You said you didn't want to talk
I
about
did.
it.
But here's the thing. I think that it's I am sad that once again I am not surprised, if that makes sense. So I'm sad about that. But the concept here is like I'm going to get in trouble for this one. So there's right now when we're recording it, right? It's boycott day. We're supposed to boycott everything.
Yeah.
There's some performative bullshit. Like it doesn't mean anything for anything. And if it makes you feel better, great. But this is what it reminds me of getting upset about like this DEI program stuff. It's like, if I get upset, it's probably going to just be performative upsetness.
Right.
In the same way. Like, I would rather find ways to be helpful to those who feel scared than just clutch my pearls and act like an Instagram post that's like Disney bad because of as if you didn't know the boyfriend that you had was going to cheat on you the whole time. So it's
yeah, Disney is definitely it's a toxic relationship we're in.
We've said it.
We're in an abusive relationship with these parks.
Yeah.
So are people with Shrek 5 and the animation change.
Speaking of us being incredibly unregulated, Drew, how do you feel about Shrek? Did you watch this little teaser?
Yeah, I watched it. I did.
Are you a Shrek head? Do you have one of those little toothpaste attachments that make it look like Shrek's pooping when you put your toothpaste out?
Am I the crazy one for saying I don't mind the animation? Is that a hot take?
Yeah. It's like imagine anyone in the video game community acting like anyone in like the film, like the anime, like, oh my god, this animation's gotten better. The graphics are better. I hate it. Imagine anyone saying that about PlayStation 5.
They're so much more expressive. I'm like, this is just catching up to. It's like it's been 15 years since the last movie. Of course, they're gonna look.
And also, yells about
when
Toy
you
Story
pause
5
a TV show randomly, when you pause a TV show randomly and they all have a weird face. Like that, this is just what it is. Shrek's gonna still look like Shrek.
Yeah.
Like it's so people.
We just found out there's a Shrek 5 and Zendaya, or now known as Shrek Daya, is playing their teenage daughter. We don't know what happened to the rest of the children.
There were at least two more.
R.I.P. to the other kids
and baby donkeys too.
They're gonna be there. I think
Shrek ate him.
I think that, if you know canonically through Shrek the Musical that at a certain age, Shrek's ogres get sent off to live in the swamp by themselves at puberty. So maybe, but we didn't experience that from the perspective of a girl ogre, only Shrek. So perhaps the two other boys,
we call them Grogers.
Perhaps the two other boys are independent, like those TikTok, like those manly men on TikTok who like chop wood and stuff. They're like independent in their own swamps, and it's girl trouble with, we'll see.
I tell you what, hashtag girl dad, right?
Hashtag, well, I have to, so yeah, I am hashtag girl dad. Hey, Drew, did you see Captain America Brave New World? Is that what they called it? Brave New World?
Yes.
I thought it was New World Order.
It was originally. And then,
Oh, they changed it?
Yeah.
I bet that, QAnon
probably
changed
didn't
that.
go
Let's
over
be real.
very well, yeah. I did see it.
So they went with the title from the...
I liked it a
Did
lot.
you see it, Nathan?
Yeah. Oh, Drew, this is going to be fun. You give your opinion and then I'll give mine.
I liked the movie. I had no issues with it. I thought it was fun. I don't understand why people hated it. I had a great time with it, and I walked out of it wondering why the reviews were so low. But that's just me.
I think that people should enjoy what they enjoy, and that's perfectly okay.
I'm taking it you didn't like it.
This movie was very bad. And I only say that from the perspective that first of all, I went for one reason and one reason only, and that's because I was promised a hulking out Harrison Ford. And I very much think that Harrison Ford understood the assignment. My man felt very in-world. It was not, we were talking earlier about like clocked in performances. He is not like cashing a check here. Like he is legitimately like enjoying the work. You can tell. And so I found his performance really fun. There's no denying though that when the credits roll, nothing has changed in the universe. Like nothing. And maybe that's okay, but it's so rare and so unmarvel to like really have nothing change. Even the Eternals has a big like dude that's frozen. Like nothing here beyond adamantium showing up, it like really is integral to a larger story or is interesting by itself.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you say that because it weirdly, and I had to watch the Ed Norton Hulk again, just to get it, and it is a love letter to that movie.
Oh, for sure, it definitely ties up loose ends.
And Hulk fans. It's a love letter to Hulk fans, and it is interestingly without the Incredible Hulk, which is him. Well, yeah, well they can. He just can't have his own independent like storylines. He has to be part of a group. I think
he's
has that changed, Drew? Do you know if that's changed about the Hulk?
I don't know all the lore as much as some people do. I'm sorry.
No, not lore. It's like
the legalese
rights.
of Hulk.
Yeah, someone still owns part of the Hulk. In a way
he
that
just showed up.
I've got no clue.
The last time we saw him is he showed up in She-Hulk and was like, "I've got a son." And that was it.
Yeah, and also infected her with his blood. Yeah. Like it was that was the whole gimmick. Yeah. I'm happy to add more to the Hulk pantheons.
I love Hulk.
This feels like we're leading. We now have 5 Hulks, technically speaking.
What?
Although I guess at the end of She-Hulk, Kevin bot retconned, and so the kid who turned into a Hulk at the end of She-Hulk gets retconned out. Like that Hulkling doesn't exist. But we have Hulk baby, Hulk, She-Hulk, Red
Abomination?
Hulk, and Abomination. Yeah. We have the 5. We have 5 now. We have 5 Hulks. So I'm honestly I'm ready for a WandaVision Hulk kind of thing. Like, you know, where it's just like a Hulk,
a traveling Wilbury Hulk.
Yeah. I saw it, and my only thought is that I despise film marketing to my core. To my absolute
I saw
core,
too much
because the whole movie leads up to Harrison Ford hulking out, and that's I think, Nathan, the reason why you felt so betrayed and didn't like it is the fact that like the turn of the film was the marketing ploy. Like it's so crazy, you know. It's like come see what Kevin Spacey asked Kaiser Sosa in. Like it was wild. You know what I mean? It's like,
the problem is I don't know how you sell that movie otherwise. Because God bless you, Anthony Mackie. This is not your problem, but like, you can't sell Anthony Mackie's Captain America by himself. Like, he's B tier. Like, there's no way around it. And so you need another reason, and it ain't going to be that they chose, I don't know, the Green Brain guy. Like that was their whole thing, was like, oh, this is the secret. And you're like, to everybody, because no one cared.
It served a lot of purposes, and it addressed the giant celestial finally. It introduced adamantium.
Yeah.
It wraps up a lot of Hulk loose ends. It retcons and like buttons up a lot of like why that movie felt so out of place.
Feels such like a season 2 of like
it's a season 2 filler episode, but that's what the MCU is. It's seasonal. Yeah. It's seasonal television disguised as films. It's like episode 3 of Severance, where like nothing really happens, but we set up a lot of exposition for episode 4 where a bomb drops. You know, so it's that kind of like and so it served its purpose. It was fine. I like new little Black Widow. I think she's fun. She's super cool. And
be careful who you tell that to, by the way, because she's technically Mossad or whatever. Like,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, What happened when our superheroes were just, in jail for tax, avoiding, like
I did
back
like
in the
how
Blade days.
We just keep putting people in this like aqua jail, and we're like, we may bring you back, or you're just going to live in aqua jail. Like, you're not going to bring, like, we're going to be like Harrison Ford died.
When Harrison Ford, when Red Hulk returns, Harrison Ford will not be involved in the project. I guarantee.
No, he'll be like full Hulk.
He'll transform off screen. Yeah, exactly. He'll just be Red Hulk.
Red Hulk all the time.
And they might find a way to make him smart Red Hulk or something.
I'm smart.
So like, yeah, he can communicate.
Here's the thing.
I don't know.
I liked elements. I think the cinematography and the action is ugly as hell. I think the blocking is bad. I think it's very boring. I went to the bathroom during an action sequence.
I like some of the action some of the best parts of the film were the action. I thought the action was done okay. The pickups.
Who was his face?
Falcon? Yeah.
No.
He's from Top Gun, right? He's from the new Top Gun.
I don't care what he's from. It ain't not working for me, man. He is like this is not a guy I want to have a beer with. Like,
okay, so you definitely, so you're saying you want to keep DEI out of your MCU. I see. I see, Nathan. I'm
interesting
understanding
characters.
that
my guy
like
was
you.
Quip
I
Machine.
see. I understand.
Chat GPT, write Quip for a new Falcon, please.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that. I don't know. I liked it. Did you get the popcorn bucket, Drew?
I did not.
It was
No
a cool
popcorn for me.
Like
all I do is like
it was
just
like a collapsible popcorn bucket. It was one of the more practical ones, I have to say. Quite
it was,
honestly.
and so was
Although
the Sipper California Adventure. I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because
we
you can hang
get-
it on the wall. Can't beat that.
Did we get a character meet and greet in new costume?
It was.
No.
I think it's the same
No,
one.
no. Interestingly enough, of all places, he popped back up at Hong Kong.
He did.
But it's the same suit from
white
the
one?
TV show that has it has like a weird neck. It doesn't.
Yeah, I hate
fit.
it.
And so the new suit actually looks like it will fix problems for the park meet and greet, especially if they just go the Iron Man route, where it's just like the Iron Patriot, Captain America.
I feel like that is, if there's ever been a sure sign.
I guess it's Wakanda Tech now. Wakanda Tech.
Yeah, my thing is, if there's ever a sure sign that Disney or Marvel is sort of like, I don't know about this one. They literally didn't do a meet and greet update. Like nothing to me says, oh, I don't know about this, like that they do that for everything. So
right. Well, hey, we've reached that part of the episode where we do a little bit of fun and tell. And I already know our guest. I know my Chuckle Wizard. I know me. So this is just going to be a one-themed fun and tell, because we can all talk about what we're having fun with Severance.
But with no
Severance.
Spoilers. I've not seen the new episode yet.
You haven't?
No, I wait till Fridays to do it. I don't stay up late on Thursday to do it.
Bro, get off this. We have the thing at 3:00. Get off of this. You have to. Oh my gosh.
I'm very excited. If I would watch it without Katie, she'd leave me. I'm not doing that.
It's the best.
I'm very excited.
Don't tell Nina, but I have watched it. I have watched one episode and then rewound it to make it look like I haven't one time during our walk. I just couldn't. I don't know. I just couldn't sleep, and I was like, I'm watching it.
Don't tell Nina on the podcast. I'm sure she listens to.
She doesn't listen to these anymore. She did in the beginning. She was a great
I
supportive
get it.
girlfriend.
I don't listen to I barely produce it. I just sort of show up.
So let's switch it up a little bit. Drew, what are you having the most fun with Severance? What's your favorite part of Severance? Because I know you're in it with me.
Yes, I've got to jump in a few minutes, but before I go, I will say that I love Severance because of how unique it is, if that makes sense. Between the directing and the characters, every single character is top tier. Like, there's not a single character in the show that I don't like. And I'm saying, like, don't like as in, like, the person acting, right?
Yeah,
but there's characters that, like, I hate in the show, but that's because the acting is so good. But I think
really
good. I think just the fact that whenever I saw people talking about it, I was like, what is this? But the fact that you can go into something having no idea what it is and just absolutely loving it, I think, if that answers your question, is what I love about it. It's just, it's so unique, and seeing everyone kind of loving it together, I think, is amazing.
And what I also think is cool about it, and as a theme park fan, it is Epcot vibes, because it's not mid-century. It's not like Mad Men mid-century. It's like 80s futurism. Like, Lumen is stuck in this analog 80s futurism. Like, once you get below, and that's the Horizons ride. That's Innovations. It's like, it's very much the architecture and vibe of like like, and Nathan, you're essentially listening to the Severance music loop that would play outside of the Severance spaceship Earth.
It's like one theme that it plays throughout the whole show, but it's one theme, but it's so well done, so it doesn't matter.
So there is currently on YouTube, you can find an 8-hour, this is from Apple officially, an 8-hour video called Severance Music to Refine To, featuring Odessa. And they did, or I think it's Odessa. They lo-fied the theme, a couple of themes from the score, and the hair cure
I've used it a little bit since you shared it with me, and it's fun to have it's a nice, because it has that like Aaron Sorkin hallway kind of driving beat, because everything's always moving forward and the music help pushes that, so it's like, oh, I gotta work.
It's about a 15-minute loop. I ended up like downloading it and trying to have it as an 8-hour loop, and it's way too big of a file. So I just thought, okay, it is literally like an hour. So I'm reassessing how I want to keep it for myself and loop it. But it's a lot of fun. The video is cool. They really did put a lot of effort into it. There's a dance break in the middle. They have a little dance party, and
with Mr. Milkshake.
Yeah. And as the video goes for the whole 8 hours, it keeps getting more and more like analog-y and staticky and dissolved, and it's really
That's fun.
It's really fun,
That's fun.
and it's worth checking out. Hey Dan, this is something that wasn't on my list, but I think we should do it. It's in Jersey. You and we need to go to Bellworks. We need to go to Lumen Industries where they shot.
Sure, let's go.
Lumen.
Let's take a field trip.
Let's go to Bellworks. Let's get our badges for Lumen, and we'll go to Bellworks.
Wait, when I go upstairs into my office, because my office is upstairs, I literally put myself into like an innie mode. I'm like, all right, it's time to go get work done. Time for me to switch into my innie. But it's what as a costume like history professional, as someone who focuses a lot on costume and like production design, this show is just the most rich. Like every element of the show is telling the story, not just the script and like the acting, but like the intentional nuance of like costuming is just one very fine example of just like a really well thought out piece of media, and I love it. Well, there you go. There's been our news roundup for February, featuring everyone's favorite theme park redhead, Drew the Disney dude.
Everyone's redheaded theme park news guy.
Everyone's favorite theme park ginger.
You guys can find me on primarily Twitter. I still call it Twitter. Drew Disney Dude over on Twitter, and then TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Drew the Disney Dude.
Are you on
Blue? Yeah, Drew's got a good YouTube going. He's got a good YouTube.
I gotta do more.
I miss seeing you, Drew, and now I'm only Blue Sky, and you gotta get over on Blue Sky too, just to have it. So,
oh my god! And
hey, Dan, it has been
every
a good
time
episode.
I go on to Blue Sky.
Come to Blue Sky.
Hey, I just want to say, here at the end of the episode that how'd the episode go? Dan, was it good?
That was the transition to the NE.
Yeah.
Was it? Did it work out?
The transition was just the sound cue is actually an elevator ding when they transition. It's not the theme song.
What are we talking about?
The theme song is like a cut. The theme song that you did is a cut transition. So I'm just saying canonically, you're just a little out of place there.
My Annie?
Oh my god.
Well, I hope it was a good episode.
All right, the episode's over now. Everyone can go home.
Hail here. This has been a production of 710 Media.